Hello students, myself Muralidharan. I'm going to deliver a short online lecture on projectile motion. I'm a 2015 IIT Guwahati pass out. I completed BTech in Engineering Physics from IIT Guwahati and I also completed my MS in Electrical Engineering from University of Colorado Boulder, United States. I secured 3000 odd national rank in IIT JEE and 1400 odd national rank in AIEEE. I have over 4 years of online experience preparing students for IIT JEE and other engineering competitive entrance exams. I primarily cover topics in physics and mathematics. I also filed few patents related to physics and computational mathematics. Alright students, this is all about me. Let's get started on the topic of the day, projectile motion. So you see over here, this football player is kicking this ball and this ball is traveling in a particular curve-like path. And this curve-like path is called projectile trajectory. And this motion, the kinematics motion, is called projectile motion. So first let's understand the difference between the straight line motion and the projectile motion and why do we call it a projectile motion. So a straight line motion is one where it is moving along one axis and whereas its other axis coordinate is going to remain constant. In this case, you see this car at the 5th second and at the 15th second, it has different x coordinates, but the y coordinate is the same. Hence, it's a straight line motion. And the same is applicable for it when it's moving along y axis, it is going to move in a single dimension, but it will remain constant along the x axis. So, in a projectile motion, this is not the case. Unlike straight line motion, in a projectile motion, this ball is moving both in x and the y axis. So you see this ball on the bottom, it is moving both along the x and the y axis. It has different x coordinate and y coordinate at different time frames. So you see this ball at 5th second and at the 10th second, it has different x and y coordinate. So how would it look like when I'm going to look from two different axes, that is x-axis and y-axis. So it would look something like this. At 0th second, when the ball was near the surface, it was at a coordinate x1 and y1, and when it reached the peak of its projectile motion, I'm assuming it is at point x3 and y3. But the thing to notice here is it has moved along both x and y axis simultaneously. It's a 2D motion. So a projectile motion is a special type of kinematic curvilinear motion where it is going to move in both x and y direction. And we'll look more about it, we'll understand more about it. But why did I divide it into two axes? The reason behind it is you can apply the equation of motion independently in these two axes and you need not worry about the motion in the x-axis while you are applying this equation on the y-axis, and you do not worry about the y-axis direction while you are applying these equations on the x vectorial components. So that's the reason we have divided into x and y axis, and it also helps us understand it's a 2D motion that is simultaneously changing along x and y direction. So this is a typical projectile trajectory, and you see over here it is changing along its trajectory in both x and y coordinate, and it reaches the peak. I'm assuming the peak is at x3 y3 and it comes down. So the projectile trajectory is nothing but it is the path of this kinematic projectile motion. Projectile motion is the path of the object released in projectile motion, and if you notice it carefully, this entire thing is in the form of parabola. This entire curve is in the form of parabola. And you can even apply this Newton's equation of motion at different displacements in x and y direction and work out the equation to see whether if it is really in the form of parabola. And you will find that it is in the form of parabola. It was first discovered and proposed by Galileo. So these are some real life examples. You might be wondering where you have seen projectile motion in real life. Everywhere. So there are some special cases where we can see this projectile motion. Have you ever noticed this dolphin jumping out of ocean? It also looks like a projectile motion. Have you ever noticed this fountain in museums and park? They also are in projectile motion. But the thing is, have you ever noticed your golf ball or the cricket ball or anything that is also in projectile motion? So if you ever noticed, like a basketball being thrown into that basket, it is also in projectile motion. So the thing is, a projectile motion is everywhere, and it is important and critical for you to understand this, even for your real life learnings. But now let's get into this topic of projectile motion. And I said, like it forms a parabola like path, but you might be wondering why. It's because of the gravity. The gravity is the culprit. So when this motion is released, it is traveling in this curvature like path because there is an acceleration, a constant acceleration acting on it, that is nothing but gravity. So you see over here, the ball is at the different points or different x and y coordinates, but the one constant thing over here is gravity, and this gravity is acting as deceleration until it reaches point A, and post that it's an acceleration to pull it till point B. So we now understood this. Now let's get into the kinematic properties of projectile motion and how do we solve problems around projectile motion. So as I told you, we know that gravity is the only acceleration acting on it. But what are these initial, kinematic properties that we need to solve problems, or what are these initial general kinematic properties of a object or the ball in this specific case in projectile motion? So the first thing would be its initial velocity. We are assuming that this object is released without any force with a specific initial velocity and at a particular angle of launch theta. And this is very, crucial to understand that this theta plays a very vital role in this entire projectile motion. Sometimes this body can reach the peak at a greater height with the same velocity with a different theta. So what we'll be doing now is just like what we spoke before. We are going to divide it into these two vectorial components along x and y axis. One is going to be uy, u sine theta, and the other one is going to be ux, u cos theta. You basically can take this vectorial components to understand whether which one is u cos theta and u sine theta, which is simple trigonometry. But what is this thing with u sine theta and u cos theta? The beauty of it is u cos theta never changes in this entire motion, since the assumption is that there is no other force acting on it other than gravity, and this gravity is in one direction, that is the vertical direction, in the opposite direction of the y-axis. So this gravity is this continuous deceleration that is acting on it. So this u cos theta is going to remain constant, and this u sine theta, that is this velocity along this y-axis, is going to become 0 at the peak. And there is another beauty of this motion, or any other beauty of this general motion projected under gravity, that is the time it takes to travel till the peak is the same as it takes to travel from the peak until the place where you projected it. So in this case, when the body is traveling or the ball is traveling from the point O to A, it is going to take some time t, and that is equal to the time taken for the object to fly from A to B, and that is also going to be t. So I guess you understood by now what is the time like that is taken for the body to fly from O to A to B. The reason being the gravity is the only acceleration in our assumption. So now we understood projectile motion, I guess, that the body under projectile motion is traveling under gravity and it forms a parabola like path, and when it is released with an initial velocity u, it happens so that the horizontal component of the velocity remains constant, whereas the vertical component of the velocity is influenced by gravity. And the other thing to notice over here is the ux cos theta remains the same, and whereas the u sine theta becomes 0, that is the y vectorial component of the velocity becomes 0 at the peak. And this height attained by this object in this entire motion is what we generally call the maximum height, since this is the maximum height, and the total horizontal distance traveled by this object in this entire path is called the range. That is it. This is the basic properties. I guess by now you must be like crystal clear with the concept of projectile motion. In the next lecture, we'll look at the concepts of projectile motion and how do we apply it in the Newton's equation of motion, and we'll also solve a problem. Thanks for watching this video. I appreciate your time. Stay safe. Thank you so much.